Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me. It is another Makeup Monday, and today we are talking about one of the biggest ways you can completely ruin your makeup, right? And that's not like smudging your eyeliner or your mascara melting. I am talking about setting your makeup and what you do after you finish the whole process. And this has been something that's kind of come in and out of question a lot with me recently, especially setting certain areas of the face, under the eye, somewhere else, on those areas. And we're going to talk about some things that come up, some myths that we can get online, some really old-fashioned thinking when it comes to setting your makeup, and the way it confuses things and you know, what people are saying about it online. We're going to go beyond just spray on setting spray, you're good to go. Put on powder, you're good to go. You know, it's a lot more complex than that. So you know the drill, you've done your makeup and everything is just right. But midday, maybe even for some of us, 2 hours later, your foundation has completely melted off, or it's sitting in your fine lines and your blush has disappeared. It's frustrating. We all want makeup that stays in place, looks fresh, and to last and look as good for as long as it can, right? But the truth is, if you don't know exactly what each product does, it's very easy for things to go wrong or not last as long, right? We're going to talk about setting sprays, setting powders, the long wearing myths, you know, that have been going around the internet. We're going to talk about them. I'm going to show you a few things with them so you can truly and realistically make your makeup longer wearing. Give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and also subscribe. Just before we talk about anything makeup in general, we do have to think about prepping the skin for makeup. And one thing that people kind of shy away from before wearing makeup is SPF and sunscreen. Let me just tell you something. Sunscreens aren't the old-fashioned formulas they used to be. They're not going to sit heavy on the skin. They're not going to be crazy uncomfortable. And a lot of them aren't going to break down your makeup anymore. Application of sunscreen and reapplying is so incredibly important. Your makeup will not look good if your skin doesn't. Let's remember that. And this video is very kindly sponsored by one of my absolute favorite brands for skincare in general, Beauty or Joseon. And you know I adore them. You know I talk about them all the time. And I want to tell you about their Relief Sun Rice and Probiotics SPF 50 PA++++. The reason I want to talk about this one in particular is because of the way it sits under makeup and the way it goes on the skin. You can see just by me applying it here now, it almost disappears on application. It's not hanging around. You can see it's not sticky or tacky. There's no white cast from it at all. And this makes it the perfect prep for makeup. Now you can literally just use this as your moisturizer and go on top with your foundation. I am talking oily skin, dry skin, dehydrated skin. You just need a good amount on each part of your face. Break it down to forehead, cheeks, nose, and then tap that into the skin, and your foundation is going to sit like a dream on top. There's also a ton of soothing ingredients and antioxidants in the sunscreen as well. So if your skin is quite sensitive, if sunscreens kind of irritate your skin, because they can do sometimes, this is going to be a great option for you to go for. Sun protection, I cannot stress enough, is so incredibly important to the health of your skin. And as you can see, it is sitting, it's just so beautiful. It's so lightweight. I can't even feel it. Sometimes sunscreens give you like this warmth feeling on the face. I can't even feel it. My dehydrated areas around here are smooth. My oily areas don't feel over prepped or greasy in any way. So as the name suggests, it contains 30% rice extract, which are rich in vitamins B, C, and E, and they're going to help keep the skin moisturized. It also has fermented grain extracts in it. Fermented, I love a fermented ingredient in skincare, and that works with a rice extract to soothe the skin and to calm the skin as well. A wonderful brand, an incredible brand. I love all their skincare, especially their eye creams. They're available now online and in store at Boots in the UK. I'll leave that linked down below for you. Subscribe. Okay, so why do you need to set your makeup? You don't, first of all, but I'll also get into this. Setting makeup is one of those things that everyone talks about, but not many people understand. So let's start with why we set our makeup in the first place. And when I say don't understand, you're gonna think, how can you not understand setting your makeup? When I say don't understand, I mean people overthink it. They think they need to do it. They think it's necessary. Some people don't think it's necessary. And it's understanding, just like with most parts of makeup and skincare, we do the things we need to do depending on our skin, right? When you apply foundation, concealer, other liquid or cream products, they stay flexible. and emollient, meaning they move around easy and can move with our skin. They can slide off throughout the day. If you have oily skin or live in a humid environment, this becomes an even bigger problem. So setting makeup helps to lock all those products in place, ensuring that they don't break down or separate. This is especially important for areas like around your nose, middle of the forehead, under eyes, but not too much. I did a whole video on that, where makeup can easily get shiny or slip off or slip into fine lines. There are two main reasons why you may need to set your makeup. Again, not everyone has to, we'll get into that. Longevity. Setting products help makeup stay longer. Finish. Setting can help control shine. It can give you a smoother, more polished look. But here's the thing. Not all setting products are equal. They don't all do the same thing. And if you're using the wrong type for your skin, you can actually be making your makeup look a lot worse. Okay, let's talk about all these different types of setting products, because we know we have a new thing being released, like every single week nowadays. So, setting powders. Setting powders are perhaps the most widely used form of setting products because they come in a variety of formulas, they're easy to use, but their job is to mattify, absorb excess oil, and prevent creasing. They're typically used to set liquid foundation, concealer. Some people use it for cream blush, although I like to keep the shine on a cream blush. Now, there are two major types of setting powders you'll find on the market. A loose powder. This is often the go-to powder for setting makeup, especially in areas like your under eye or T-zone. It tends to be lighter weight if they're finely milled, and it helps control shine without leaving a heavy layer. And if you have oily skin, a translucent powder can help keep you matte without adding any extra color, which is great because you don't want more and more layers and you don't want to ruin the makeup that you have underneath. A lot of people go into loose powders with a puff or a brush. Now, there's two different reasons you'll be using these things. Obviously, a product that is closer to the skin and the closer to your hand gives you more pressure. So using a puff is going to push powder into a product a lot more. It may give it a heavier, matter finish. A brush is going to give you a lighter finish. So if you're not necessarily doing it to set makeup, or you don't think you need to set your makeup in that area, say you don't have an oily forehead, say you're a little bit drier and you don't like the way intense powder looks, a light brush with a just dusted over skin is going to give you that matte look without necessarily getting itself involved in the formula or the texture of your product. Now, pressed powders are more compact, right? And they're perfect for touch-ups throughout the day, but they tend to be heavier than loose powders. And if you over apply, you risk looking cakey. This could be because even though some powders say they're translucent, at the end of the day, if you build it up and up and up, you're going to get this weird kind of finish. Pressed powders are great for quick touch-ups or setting your makeup in a hurry, but make sure not to pack it on too thick. I'm not actually going to do it on a pressed powder because I don't want to ruin it. That could mean putting your brush in a pressed powder like this. You're overloading the brush, you're ruining the powder, you're ruining your brush and stabbing it on the face. Gentle movements with a brush and gently onto the skin is going to give you a lot more of this less cakey, less packed on look, right? And if you do it too much, you can actually end up accentuating texture if you are not careful. Okay, setting sprays. So setting sprays are an entirely different beast, right? They're generally misted over the face to lock in makeup or reduce like a powdery texture and help melt everything into the skin for a more natural skin-like finish. But they don't always help with longevity. This is where the confusion comes in. I personally am not a big believer in setting sprays. There are 3 or 4 setting sprays that I really like, that I think really work. There are 3 kind of types of setting sprays that I can think of that you'll typically see, right, as an average consumer. Hydrating sprays or mists are more about refreshing your makeup and adding like a glowy finish, right? Products like MAC Fix Plus, are perfect for this. It's not a setting spray, it never was, and it never will be. I don't care how MAC market it now. They add moisture, but they don't lock makeup in place for long periods. What they do is melting the product together. It's making everything more cohesive. It's making it more skin-like. So by using a hydrating mist, you can see it gives my skin a healthy glow. But it's important to note also that it's not going to do things like stop oil from breaking through or extend the wear time of your makeup. Long wear setting sprays. Now, if you want your makeup to last all day, you need a long wear setting spray. Here's the deal with these though. These products contain film forming ingredients like PVP or acrylates, which help create a barrier over your makeup and lock it in. The deal with these, though, you have to be really, really careful, because some of these products can look kind of thick and heavy and leave a kind of texture on your skin. I like these before makeup for really oily people as your primer. Spray, fan it dry, and then go on top of your foundation. Some people like them over the top of makeup. Again, I've only experienced a few that do this. But these are the ones that are going to help your makeup last a little bit longer. And like these kind of sprays are those essential sprays if you need your makeup to withstand sweat, heat for long hours, right? Those are what people think of when they think of fixing sprays. They're going to make your makeup last longer. It's not a hydrating mist, and it's also not a finishing spray. Now, finishing, fixing, what's the difference there? They're similar to setting sprays, but they tend to focus on enhancing the finish of your makeup, like adding a glow or mattifying the skin. That's a difference. That's plain and simple. Okay, so we've covered those basics. Some of the biggest myths floating around when it comes to setting makeup are kind of just, that's exactly it, myths. For example, a setting spray can replace a powder. So this is one of the most common misconceptions, or one of the most common things I see online. Setting spray does not replace powder. Setting powder and setting sprays serve different functions. Powder helps to absorb oil. If you skip the powder and use only spray, your makeup might look glowy, beautiful at first, but it won't have the same staying power. So if you only apply a setting spray, your makeup is going to start to break down sooner, especially somewhere like the T-zone where you tend to be a little bit more oily. The next thing I want to talk about is the more powder, the longer wear. This isn't the case either. With any product, over-powdering can lead to a cakey finish and can actually reduce the longevity of your makeup by drying out your skin. It can also settle into fine lines, make texture more noticeable, especially somewhere like your cheeks where you may have pores, on your nose where you may have pores, more visible pores. A heavy layer of powder, as beautiful as it may look on screen, in real life makes your skin look super, super dry. And remember, powder is an oil and moisture absorbing product. So think about how that is going to react with your makeup and your skin in general. Now, we spoke about baking, but you don't have to bake your makeup to set it in place. Baking is drying and can even accentuate the texture of fine lines or even a single crease, the tiniest little crease. A light dusting of powder is usually enough. Someone did comment on something recently. I did a video about under eye creasing, saying that if you have a very big fold under the eye, you have to bake. You absolutely don't. I have something you can do for that, and I'll maybe talk about in another video. So there you have it. Everything you need to know about setting your makeup the right way and why you should or shouldn't be using products, or even setting if you don't want to. If you've been struggling with makeup longevity, hopefully this video has cleared up some of the confusion. At the end of the day, you don't even have to set your makeup. If you're happy to repair it throughout the day as it starts to break down and as the product starts to slip off the skin, then great. To me, it's so much easier to repair makeup and try and fix it and blot it all away. If you are super oily, a bit of pressed powder and these little areas here are fantastic. But there is no rule that says you absolutely must set all your makeup. It all depends on your skin type. Remember, everyone's skin is different. No one rule applies for every single person. If that helped you, please do subscribe, give this video a thumbs up for more Makeup Mondays, and I will see you very soon. Bye.